Hi, my name is Laci. I'm a no-niche artist using weekly themes to declutter my space, and it is Moon Phases Week. We are making this ribbon wristlet inspired by this ribbon I had left over from Halloween, which has moon phases on it. Your first step is to decide whether you want your ribbon to go horizontal or vertical. I did not have enough ribbon to stack vertically, so mine are horizontal. A ruler helps to line up, and a little bit of double stick tape does help as well. A cat is not necessary. So first we're going to double stick tape, and then we're going to sew down both sides of the ribbon strips. They may shift a little bit, so just kind of try to hold down and keep them as straight as possible as you top stitch. Trim the excess threads and square up where it's needed if your ribbon is wonky. You can use zipper tape, cut to whichever length works. If you have a zipper, cut to a certain length, but you want to leave about a 1/2 inch on each side. And if you're using zipper tape, you want to make sure to tack those ends so that the zipper doesn't fly off. And it's easier to sew over when you're putting these tab ends on the ends of the zipper. I used 2-inch squares of just scrap vinyl that I had. You can use pretty much anything. I do like vinyl though because it does not fray, and I just matched it to the zipper. You can use seatbelt webbing or any kind of webbing that you would generally use to make a strap. I'm using the rest of the vinyl that I had. Make sure you put your lobster clasp on. You're making a loop. You're folding it in on itself and then sewing all the way around on both sides to hold everything down. I had a chunk of vinyl that was showing, that got nicked, and it was showing white, so I'm hiding a little bit under there. For the lining, you can cut it to the same size, slightly smaller. Waterproof canvas is nice because it doesn't fray. And then I'm just drawing on my box corners that I'm going to cut out. I did 1.5 inches, but I'll say here, I think 1 inch probably would have been better. It would have made the pouch a little less boxy on the bottom. This is the part that always really confused me as a beginning bag maker, and I hope I can clearly demonstrate it here, but we are making the first steps of the zipper sandwich. So we are attaching a face down zipper. The teeth are towards the exterior. So this is right sides facing. So the vinyl is facing up. The zipper teeth are facing down. You're going to have to move. Just put your needle down and move the zipper pull out of the way. Now we are adding a lining piece. It is face down, so right side's facing. You can check this by kind of holding it and flipping the lining over the top of the zipper so you can see if the lining would be facing the right way and the exterior is facing the right way. The zipper is still face down. Be sure to backstitch at the beginning and the end, and now you can flip it over and see exterior is facing out. The lining is the correct way. So you're going to pull down and move that out of the way. Now we're going to the second panel, kind of mark the center to you can also mark your zipper, but zipper's fray. So I like to just kind of eyeball it. And basically remember, we're leaving about a 1/2 inch on each side of that zipper. And that's going to allow for our zipper tabs to sit nicely. One lining panel and one exterior panel are attached to the zipper. So we're taking that whole thing and placing it zipper face down to the exterior of the second panel. That's right sides together again, and we're just going to do a narrow basting stitch to hold that zipper down to the exterior panel. We're adding the second lining piece face down. I'm going to flip this over and sew to where the lining is on the bottom. We've made a zipper sandwich. You can't see all of the parts of the sandwich. So I have flipped it over because one side's going to feel a little easier to sew. We are sewing close to those zipper teeth, and this is sewing all of the pieces of your wristlet together. So there is 2 exteriors and 2 linings now. A little awkward to move your zipper. Just reach in, put the needle down, reach in, finagle it out of the way. We're adjusting because we're going to need to top stitch. We want to pull all of the lining away and all of the outer panels away from the zipper. This is the key. This is the key right now to nice looking zipper ends. You don't top stitch all the way to the edge. It's not edge to edge. You start in line with the zipper tabs, backstitch, go all the way down to the other zipper tab, backstitch, turn it around, do it on the other side. If your thread blends with your zipper, you can make a really long skinny rectangle. Just sew a box the whole way around, but you're not going to the ends. If you're using a D-ring, you're going to need to put it in this next step. Okay, this is so important. Don't forget to leave your zipper mostly open. It doesn't need to be all the way because that can get in the way of your stitching. You want the hardware to sit kind of in the middle, but you need enough space because you're going to reach your hand through to turn the bag out. Meanwhile, we are sewing down the sides. We are going carefully near the zipper tabs. We are sewing completely closed along the bottom of the exteriors and all the way down each side. But when you get to the lining panel, we are only sewing about an inch or so in on the bottom edge on each side. And this is going to be the opening that we're going to turn through. I like to go back and stitch some extra security just near those zipper tabs because they are going to be lifted up pretty high. You want to squish them down. Now we are forming the box corners. So you pinch, you kind of pull it open and push until you get a straight line. I like to nest the seams. Sometimes it seems like they have a natural way that they'll sit better. Sometimes these are a little wonky. I usually do 2 rows of stitching to help. Okay, so this is the fun part. So you reach through the opening that we left in the bottom of the lining and pull the exterior through. This part's pretty satisfying, but also kind of annoying. Go slow, pop out the corners. See how everything fits, and I like to push it back in. Just before you sew it up at the bottom, make sure everything fits pretty nicely. You're going to want to make any changes at this point before you do this, which is sewing the bottom pieces together. There are ways to do this that involve ladder stitching and hand stitching, but I loathe hand stitching. So I do a narrow 1/8 of an inch seam along the bottom. You don't need a rivet press, but I will say it is my favorite sewing tool. We are done. Ribbon wristlet. I hope everything made sense. Pretty straightforward. Leave me any questions in the comments. And if you want to see more, check out the rest of the Moon Phases Week projects and more from me in the future. Thanks.